Something weird has been happening. This isn't speculation, this is based on the testimony of hundreds of people. Britain has a UFO problem.
Well, video footage has come to light which could indicate that we are not alone. A bright, shining object has been filmed hovering in the sky above Falkirk in Scotland.
Heard a lot in the news in the last couple of days about these drones over US and perhaps UK military bases in the United Kingdom.
UFO experts say it's the best footage ever seen of a possible alien spaceship.
Federal government is under increasing pressure to share more information with the public about possible suspicious drone activity. Videos of what appear to be unidentified aircraft began going viral last month. The House Intelligence Committee had a classified briefing about this all today.
So what you're telling me, unidentified flying objects are real?
The government has already stated for the record that they're real. I'm not telling you that. The United States government is telling me that. The question is, what is it? What are its intentions? What are its capabilities?
But the Pentagon admits it doesn't know what in the world this is, or this, or this.
The object was likened unto a cross.
There was no noise. The first time we saw it was when it was just above treetop height.
There was no question whatsoever that this was a figment of the imagination. It was definitely there.
Despite multiple sightings, none of these devices have been recovered. There's very little information that the Pentagon or the UK military have given up over this. These drones, let's just call them that for now, have demonstrated some very impressive capability.
What's crazy about all these drone sightings is the government hasn't released any information about what's going on. Joe Biden said there's nothing nefarious going on.
Nothing nefarious, apparently.
But if there's nothing nefarious, why hasn't he told the people what they are? Then Donald Trump came out and he said that the government know exactly what's going on.
Can you comment on the drones?
The government knows what is happening. Our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment.
But if the government knows exactly what's going on, why haven't they said something? So I'm visiting the UK's area with what is potentially the most amount of UFO sightings. You see, within Bonnybridge, there are as many as 300 UFO sightings every single year. What is that?
You see that? That's where the aliens go.
What if I told you that there was a town that allegedly had 300 UFO sightings almost every single year, and that town is called Bonnybridge, and I'm going to be exploring it at night. Now, this is a place where even theoretically abductions have taken place.
So if the Falkirk Triangle is an area of Britain that is known for having a huge amount of UFO sightings, Bonnybridge is the heart of that triangle. Hopefully it's not too blinding. You're okay, you can see in the light, it's not too bright?
I can hear you.
Okay, great, fantastic. So
My name's David Sharp.
So David, so you live in Bonnybridge?
I've stayed in Bonnybridge for the last 10 years.
Bonnybridge is renowned for having the most UFO sightings in the whole of the UK.
Yes.
In your experience, what do you think? Do you believe the rumours?
I don't believe the rumours for Bonnybridge.
Okay.
I do believe that there are alien beings. Are you looking at the people, or are you talking about aliens?
I don't know. Whatever. What do you think?
There's some strange people in Bonnybridge.
There's some strange people in Bonnybridge.
But there's strange people everywhere.
Is it possible that people from I don't know. I was going to say, could they be in? No, they're not aliens.
I say it in jest.
Harmony had long hair down here, had big slanted eyes, and she had her coat like that, but her hands were like a crocodile's. Now, if I had to tell you that I believe that she was a reptilian, which apparently is one of the species of aliens that apparently are on Earth.
So where do you think the rumours came from?
I
Maybe
think
that's
there might be one or two individuals trying to exploit the situation for whatever reason.
Because you think that it maybe brings them, I don't know, I guess attention or whatever it is.
Well, it's nice to be different from the rest of the people. Bonnybridge has got a unique thing to sell.
So people that's just got an interest in ufology or UFOs will come into Bonnybridge. But we haven't got anything catered for them. We don't have a shop that sells any goods or items. We don't want that, and I don't want that.
It's on the tourist map.
Yeah, I think it probably has brought a lot of tourists to the area.
You bring money to the area starts to benefit. The people will believe in anything.
Have you yourself lived in Bonnybridge long?
Just 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
And what is Bonnybridge like as a place to live?
It's actually very nice.
Very
Much
nice.
nicer than what I thought.
What do you like about it, if you don't mind me
I think
asking?
the people.
Yeah.
The people are very open, very friendly.
You said that you do believe in UFOs.
I believe in alien beings. Whether they come in strange spaceships, I don't know.
And what makes
I haven't seen them.
What makes you believe in the UFOs?
Because I don't believe that we're the only intelligent creatures in this whole universe. I believe there's got to be an awful lot more than what we know.
It makes sense because it's such a massive universe, right? Like,
if we're the most intelligent beings, oh, it's doomed.
The UK has a long-standing history of UFO encounter stories. Some of these mysteries have been unsolved to this day. The Rendlesham Forest incident began on the 26th of December 1980 in the south of England. John Burroughs and Jim Penniston were based at a nearby RAF base. It was night time. The pair noticed some weird lights in the sky. They decided to investigate, leaving the safety of the RAF Woodbridge base to venture into the dark forest. But what they would see would change them forever. One of the first signs that something was off was that their radios started to crackle as they came closer to the source of the light. The duo also started to feel strange. Time felt as though it was slowing down. As they pushed through the forest, they came across something that they couldn't explain. A triangular object about the size of a car, which had strange hieroglyphic-like symbols on it. The triangular object was pulsing as light was emitted from the craft into the trees around it. Although it wasn't making any sound, the craft was hovering above the ground. John and Jim pushed past any initial feelings of fear. Penniston reached out and touched the craft. But this wasn't like touching a normal object. He recounted that he felt as though he was downloading a coded message telepathically, the meaning of which was strange and mysterious. But he would later transcribe it, finding it to include coordinates and strange messages such as exploration of humanity continuous and eyes of your eyes. But Jim and John wouldn't have long to investigate because the craft quickly disappeared into the night sky, leaving behind branches in the ground and a lot of confusion. Penniston and Burroughs returned to the base and reported the incident. Over the next few days, the lights returned, prompting a senior officer, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, to lead a team out into the forest. The task force brought a tape recorder and a Geiger counter.
As they descended into the woods towards the light, they experienced a lot of strange things. From animals making odd noises,
Animals, they're very, very active, making an awful lot of noise.
To spots on the ground.
This is strange. Here, somebody want to look at the spots on the ground? Whoops, watch your own step. We're walking all over.
And even radiation that they picked up on their Geiger counter.
Three good clicks on the meter and we're seeing strange lights in the sky.
Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt actually voice recorded a lot of his experience.
What is it? We don't know, sir. So can I get some? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Hey, this is eerie. Then we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 3:30, there's even 3:30, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around, heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. Still moving erratic and similar lights and beaming down this area.
What is particularly curious about this case is the number of credible witnesses. But the next UFO case that I tell you about is even crazier. In fact, it has so much evidence that even I started to believe that it could be true.
It kind of has an eerie feeling to it, and obviously what I'm curious about is whether, whilst I'm walking around over here, whether I spot anything myself. So what was your name, my friend?
My name's Gordon.
Where are we at the moment?
We're in Bonnybridge City, Alberto's.
Amazing smell of the fish and chips over here. Sorry, I won't fool you guys, but it looks really good. I think there's over 300 sightings a year here for UFOs.
Right.
Have you met people that have seen things?
Never met anyone. I've seen a lot of pictures though.
You've seen a lot of pictures of like UFOs?
On my phone stuff.
Where people have actually got their phones out and they've been able to show pictures of UFOs?
Yeah, like it's on like Bonnybridge banter and stuff and all that.
What do the pictures look like?
It looks like kind of like a circle. Like there's like these lights around it.
Yeah.
Like,
circle with lights around it.
Yeah, and it's like up there.
Yeah.
That. But yeah, I've heard that it's like one of the most UFO sighting places.
Yeah, exactly. What's your thoughts? Do you believe it?
Don't know.
Because you've seen the pictures.
Not fully, 100%. Okay. I'll say halfway. Kind of
halfway,
half.
So you kind of believe it, kind of not sure 100%.
Yeah.
Why do you think there are so many sightings around here?
Maybe because it's like there's the memory gardens and stuff.
Do you believe in aliens?
Me particularly, no.
Okay.
Not like aliens, no. UFOs, so maybe.
I have met people in the area who have said they have seen things that they can't explain.
What kind of things have they said that they've seen?
One was a bright light that came racing behind them.
Yeah.
Not a car, because it was high up in the sky.
Oh, okay.
They were coming down the country roads from work, and they could not explain it.
So it was like a bright light.
Yeah.
Wow, and it really scared them, and they just couldn't explain where that bright light came from.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Now, reasons for that, wide and varied.
Yeah, so it could be anything.
Could have been a motorbike that was far away, had a very bright light.
Yeah.
Up in the hill.
Yeah,
coming down fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it could have been something that is up in the sky that we can't explain.
Okay.
Or because we're close to an airport here, there's Cumbernauld has got the airport, it might have been a plane coming into land.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, explanations possible. Did it freak her out? Yes. And she's not, I'll say she's an intelligent woman.
Mm.
So
you think she's like a trustworthy person to have?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And anybody who sees anything strange or feels anything strange, then you've got to accept what they're saying, because it's them. It's their feelings, it's what they think. Me personally, I've sat at the back doorstep looking up in the sky going, come on, come on.
Yeah, where are you? Anyone else that's mentioned any stories?
That's the only one that actually comes to mind. There's a couple of people who have said, oh, they have seen strange things, but that's all.
It's an absolute pleasure.
that's all I can share.
Thank you very much. It's
You're
David,
more
right?
than welcome.
No, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you very much. One thing I would say, people here do seem really like genuine. Although people I've spoken to have not seen anything themselves, they have met other people that do genuinely believe that they have seen UFOs. Or at least seen pictures that seem to be that. I come to a nearby town of Falkirk, which is another town that is very much a hot spot for these kind of viewings. Just moved to Bonnybridge.
Just moved to Bonnybridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any UFOs? Have you ever?
Not yet, but you know, I'm curious about it.
Do you believe they could exist, or are you not sure?
Well, it's hard for me to believe in anything without evidence. I want to believe, but
yeah, mate, that makes sense.
First.
And do you know anyone that thinks they have seen or has seen UFOs? Or?
No, well, my wee one does, but she's like 8, so...
Okay, so you take it with a pinch of salt.
I don't talk to a lot of people in the local area.
Okay, yeah, so potentially.
Ask me random questions.
What's your thoughts on whether there is UFOs in Bonnybridge?
I would say it's a miscommunication. Now, a lot of people would say, oh yeah, Bonnybridge, there were a lot of UFOs, but I would argue that it could be RAF. Now, you've got to look at the Scottish... Okay. Hey, how you doing, mate?
Oh, good.
Don't worry, dub that out. But you have a lot of aircraft going across Scottish airspace.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of military aircraft where there's only certain pathways, because bear in mind, it's a busy airspace over Europe.
Is there a military base nearby to Bonnybridge?
No, but the thing is, you have aircraft that are capable of travelling Mach 1, Mach 2. Let's be honest, I'm a civilian. You've probably got aircraft that can travel far greater than that now. The thing is, if you are a civilian on the ground, you see lights in the sky, you're going to look at that and go, oh, what's that? It could be UFOs, it could be actors from a foreign nation, it could be military, or it could be just some guy doing a prank. Now, the thing is, from my background, I think you should be able to ask questions. When someone says you can't ask a question, that makes me want to ask a question.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be the man off the street opinion that knows a couple of things, maybe it's a military aircraft, because your flight paths, the local hills and the valley, if you want to head south or Glasgow or whatever, there's only so many pathways that you're not interrupting civilian traffic.
You mentioned about something about turning left. What was that?
Right, so let's say you're in the North Sea and you're banking north of Edinburgh. If you're travelling about 400-500 miles an hour, oh yeah, Bonnybridge is actually quite a convenient area to fly, or even Denny as well.
So almost because of the way the mountains are and things like that, it's convenient to fly over Bonnybridge.
Exactly.
One thing I would just say here, wouldn't it also be more convenient for UFOs to fly over there in that case, as well as planes?
But you've got an Air Force base nearby called Nellis. But like I said, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy in the street.
And have you ever seen any UFO or anything that you've not been, anything unidentified? Have you ever seen anything unidentified?
Well, I've certainly seen strange objects in Falkirk.
Oh really? You've seen strange objects?
Well, bear in mind, that's mostly at ground level.
Okay.
Like that gentleman walking by there.
So really, really low level?
No, like, all jokes aside,
okay,
I've never ever had any experience like that. All the best way of documentary.
No problem. Thank you very much. Super appreciate all the time.
Listen,
super appreciate
have
it.
a good Christmas,
You as well, buddy. Okay, so you guys are out in Falkirk. Have any of you seen any UFOs or no?
Not at all.
And do you guys all live here as well? And you've all lived there your entire lives. This is a lot of like sources. Okay. And do you know anyone that's seen UFOs?
None. But if an alien comes in, I'll get a drink from him in Newmarket.
Okay. There's a few aliens. Okay. Do you guys believe in UFOs?
Not all.
Okay. Some mix.
Some possibility of it.
Some possibility.
I mean, I think there probably is alien life out there, but I doubt it's like the flying saucers, like green alien kind of.
I agree with him. I think there is something out there.
So I'm curious, why do you guys reckon there has been so many? There's about 300 a year in Bonnybridge. Yeah, it's about 300 a year. What do you reckon it is that's causing all of that?
Drink syndrome.
Drink syndrome. Okay, interesting.
He's not wrong with that. I mean, in Scotland, there's not really much else to do.
Yeah. Okay, so people. Okay, interesting. Do you mind if I ask what you guys are celebrating? You all got the Santa hats. I'm loving the outfits.
Christmas, first of all.
Celebrating Christmas. I mean, you guys.
The Falkirk pub trail.
Yes.
How many pubs in are you guys?
That's number 6 now.
6. Wow. You guys can hold your alcohol well, though. I
wouldn't
feel.
say that.
No.
No. One or two of us maybe only had like a can of like Fanta or something. So
A can of Fanta. If you're getting drunk on Fanta, that's impressive.
It doesn't always have to be alcohol. So that's
Okay.
It's a fake ID, so.
Hold on.
Wait, what?
A real ID.
ID.
Got the McLaughlin.
That's like a yeah. Mate, you do kind of look like McLovin.
I get it a lot. Don't worry.
Wow.
Say the line.
I am McLovin.
Wait, I wasn't looking. Hold on.
I am McLovin.
There we go. Wow. Everyone I've met in Scotland has been so friendly. I don't know. I feel like in England, people are not this friendly. Is it? Do you reckon is that a thing? Like people in Scotland are just like.
There's a lot of bad people here.
I was going to say, I think it varies, but you probably will more likely to find someone who is a bit more friendlier to you.
If you go to Glasgow and Edinburgh.
So what's Glasgow like? 'Cause I'm going to go to Glasgow tomorrow.
There's a lot of crime going on there, really.
Oh, really?
It's not great, but it's great for a night out, I'm sure.
Interesting. So a lot of crime and less friendly people.
Depends on the area.
Depends on the area. Okay.
For a reason.
Okay, because that bad. Any last tips for me in my hunt for UFO?
Give him a drink and it'll all work out.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the 4th of August 1990 and the sun is setting in the Scottish Highlands. But it wasn't dark just yet. 2 men arrived, seemingly to go for a hike through the woods. To this day, the 2 men have not been identified. After progressing through the woods and over a fence, one of them spotted something peculiar. He glanced up. When the second man saw it, they started to run. Fear pulsed through their veins. After all, they had seen a massive object in the sky, an object that looked completely unnatural, an object that didn't look like any human technology that they had ever seen before. They hid behind some bushes and peeked out to have another look. They were relieved to see that the large floating object had stayed stationary, unmoving in the sky. Luckily, one of them had a camera, so they pulled it out. The photographs that they took that day may later become one of the most famous and significant photographs in history. However, it would be 32 years until the general public would see any of them. Despite the large floating objects, the men were surrounded by silence. The UFO itself was emitting no noise. But that silence was broken when a jet roared over them. The jet then turned sharply and started doing rotations around the large floating object. Eventually the object shot up vertically, first slowly, then rapidly vanishing into the clouds. What is so intriguing about this incident though is what happened after. Firstly, the hikers got in touch with the Daily Record, a tabloid newspaper in Scotland. They handed over the original negatives, but for some reason, the tabloid never published them. Instead, the newspaper got in touch with the military. Specifically, they reached out to Craig Lindsay, the public relations officer for the RAF. Craig was initially skeptical, but when he tore open the envelope and saw the photograph, he realised this wasn't like other UFO sightings. Craig quickly got in touch with the Ministry of Defence, MOD. The MOD wanted more details. They wanted the photographs. They wanted the details of the witnesses. This is immediately very interesting. This is the UK Government Department for Defence, so when they start asking for all these details, it's clear that they thought that it was something to take seriously. Lindsay would later have a meeting at the MOD offices in London. When he went in, he noticed that one of the pictures of the UFO had been blown up and placed on the wall as a large poster. But bizarrely, the MOD had said that even though they had looked into the photo and determined that it was a genuine photograph, that they were not going to investigate further. In 2008, the MOD made a big decision to release their UFO files to the public. But one thing was missing: the photograph taken by the hikers in 1990. The MOD said they didn't know what had happened to it. What I find most fascinating was when Nick Pope, who actually worked in the MOD, in the department responsible for investigating UFO sightings, started to talk about what had happened.
The Ministry of Defence said, we have no record of this photograph image. There was no trickery. This was a real object, and it was big, and we in the Ministry of Defence did not know what this was.
Nick Pope said that the photo attracted the attention of very senior military officers, partly because these photos were the most clear the MOD had ever seen, and they conducted extensive testing to verify that these photos were in fact genuine. According to the Scotsman, Nick Pope said this in his own words: "The MOD has all sorts of equipment and expertise that we use to analyse and enhance imagery to tell whether there's any signs of fakery. This picture was assessed by our digital experts, who concluded it was a real photograph showing a solid structured craft which was estimated as being around 25 meters in diameter. There were no wings and no visible signs of any propulsion system. It was exotic and unknown in a way far beyond even the most modern stealth aircraft being trialled at the time. I remember going to a briefing with the Defence Intelligence staff where the photograph was discussed. My opposite number in Defence Intelligence pointed his finger to the left and said, 'It is not the Americans,' then to the right saying, 'It is not the Soviets,' and finally he said, 'That only leaves,' and pointed his finger directly up."
I was almost assuming coming to this area that I was going to meet many more people that at the very least knew someone who had seen UFOs. So I think to me it's kind of surprising. We're going to go back to the apartment that I'm staying in and try and think of a way of taking this investigation a little bit deeper. And I guess, I don't know, having come all the way up to Scotland, my hope is, you know, to find something. The apartment we're staying in cost about £50, very close to Glasgow. So it'll be interesting to see how nice an apartment you can get for a night for just £50 in the Scottish area. Code's not working. Okay, we're gonna give them a call. Oh, okay. Oh, so we need to turn it right rather than left. Okay. Ah, nice. Thank you very much. This was £50. It's nice, it's very big, it's a bit cold. Oh, there's a... Mind the step. We might see some UFOs out the window. I've just woken up. I'm quite excited to see Glasgow. It's difficult to open this whilst filming. So the question today will be, have the people of Glasgow experienced or seen UFOs? It's actually stopped raining right now, but you can tell it rains a lot. It was raining just before I left to come out here, and there's puddles all over the floor, some massive. I seem to have found like decent parking quite close to the city centre for free, and I'm kind of confused because in a massive city you don't really expect to get free parking. So I just met someone that said that they had seen UFOs in the newspaper. They'd seen stuff to do with UFOs in the newspaper, the local one. However, they themselves had never seen UFOs. They said that they were too old to speak on camera, but very friendly. Everyone I've spoken to up here has been so friendly. So one thing I kind of realized is that if I straight out the gate ask questions about UFOs, I think it sometimes throws people off and they think, okay, what is this weird line of questioning? So I think I'm going to ask people a bit about their experience in Glasgow and what it's like up here, and then ask them about kind of the UFO, and hopefully that makes people feel a bit more comfortable. And to be honest, I am genuinely interested. What is life like in Glasgow?
My English is not...
No, your English is great. What's life like in Glasgow, my friend?
Glasgow life is too bad.
Why is life too bad in Glasgow?
Because the system here,
in
general, UK in general, is no favorite the Scotland, because the occupation.
The occupation.
Colonialism.
Colonialism.
For example, job. I've no job.
Is it hard to get a job in Glasgow? Is it? Really?
Daily life is very bad.
Yeah.
From security, firstly.
You don't feel safe in Glasgow?
From drugs, young people look lost.
Yeah.
I think it's not normal.
Is there a lot of crime?
No crime, but no safety. No safety.
Have you ever seen anything kind of weird ever? Like, apparently there's a lot of sightings of UFOs, alien spacecraft. I don't know, have you ever seen or heard of anything like that up here?
Aliens, no. No aliens, but something wrong.
Something what?
Wrong. For example, firstly, I can talk about the health.
Yeah.
I think all Scotland or all UK, but in generally here, Glasgow, a lot of people not healthy. Maybe 90% from, I think, the
freezing cold.
Cold.
It is cold up here. My hands are cold now. They're going yellow.
But it's not from natural.
Okay, so you feel like there's a lot of people that have health problems up here.
Because the NHS, for example, is doing something not normal. Everybody here have treatment from medication.
Everyone up here has medication?
They have to take, for example, 20, 40 tablets daily. That is not normal. Something wrong.
So you feel like there's something strange going on in Glasgow that's causing so many people to be so unhealthy?
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is?
I have an idea, but not to talk today.
Have you ever seen weird things in the sky?
I have seen something strange.
Oh.
The planes we can see like every day you have a smoke behind. That is not normal.
Maybe not even human planes?
No, it's human.
Oh, you think it is human?
100%.
So they're all...
You can find something white color. They come quickly yellow from the plane in the sea. From the smoke, they lift at the smoke, and the smoke come down, and that's something strange.
That is strange.
That is something to talk about.
Something strange. Mate, thank you very much for sharing your story. I appreciate it. I was wondering why this random blue box was here, but then I put some thought into it, and my guess is it is like a kind of monument, a dedication to, I think his name was David Tennant, who is a Scottish Doctor Who. What's life like up here?
It's quite nice. It's quite a simple place. There's nice communities, there's bad bits.
So there's community, so... Okay, why have you had enough of it?
I just don't think there's that much to see. I've been here 26 years and I feel like I've probably seen everything now. Same faces and places. If I was coming to someone new, I think I would really like it.
So you moved to London, so you've gone to like one of the biggest cities?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
it's like a
plenty
country
to see.
in and of itself.
Do you find people are really friendly up here?
By and large, yeah. It's a bit bizarre. I think people tend to beat around the bush a lot here and not
really
a little bit in certain ways. I don't think there's enough exposure to other cultures here, so I think a lot of people are probably quite limited in their worldview.
That is really interesting. So I'm from England, and it's very down south is very multicultural, but it's coming up here, yeah, everyone does seem to be.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I've seen a lot of people leave here feeling as though it's not diverse enough. And I think there is some truth to that.
I'm going to ask you a random question. There's been a lot of, in theory, UFO sightings. There's been a lot recently in New Jersey. Wondering whether you've ever seen any, whether you've known anyone that's seen UFOs.
I've not, but there is a place near to where I'm from that is like famous for its UFO sightings.
Wouldn't happen to be Bonnybridge.
That's it, Bonnybridge.
That's the one.
Yeah. I've heard people talk a lot about that, but I've never seen one myself. I'm not averse to the idea, but I think it's unlikely we have seen them.
And what have people been saying about Bonnybridge?
I only know that it came up in a pub quiz I was in, and someone I know who used to stay there said that they got the answer right because they knew that apparently it's infamous for them.
Infamous for UFO
sightings, yeah.
Oh, really, really interesting. You don't believe it? You don't believe in aliens necessarily?
I probably do, yeah. I just don't believe we've come in contact with them.
Okay.
But I would say that it seems incredibly unlikely that we're the only planet in this massive universe that has life on it. I
have one more story to tell, and it might just be the most important, because although it didn't happen in the UK, it might just provide some of the strongest evidence that the sightings that occurred in the UK were genuinely something beyond our wildest comprehension. In 2007, a video emerged on the internet that appeared to show a UFO. At the time, it was pretty much written off as a conspiracy, but in 2020, the Pentagon put out an official statement confirming not just this one, but 2 other videos were in fact legitimate videos of UAPs, which is the government's new name for UFOs. A UFO doesn't necessarily mean aliens, but it also applies to anything else where we have no clue what it is. The first video was recorded back in 2004. There was a Navy group, which is like a squad of massive Navy vessels. The squad was led by the USS Nimitz, but it included large warships like aircraft carriers, along with cruisers and jets, helicopters and more. In the strike group, radar technicians started to get confused by a series of unidentified targets that appeared on their radar system. The signals didn't seem to make any sense. They would appear in small clusters of 5 or 10 at a time. The technicians initially assumed that something was wrong with the radar, so they turned it off and recalibrated. However, when it went back on again, the signals were still there. These radar operators were extremely credible, including a senior chief operations specialist with 18 years of radar experience at the time. These signals weren't moving like any known animal or technology that could have been inhabiting the airspace. They were at times dropping down from very high to very low, or moving at very unconventional speeds. But it wasn't only the radar technicians seeing this weird phenomena. When the radar targets picked up, the crew would run to the deck and observe the strange objects through extra strong ship binoculars. But it was when the jets came out that things would escalate to the next level. A few jets flew out above the area where the strange things were happening. Initially, a disturbance was seen in the water by a few of the jets. It was described as similar to what it looks like when a submarine goes underwater. One of the jet's pilots was called Commander David Fravor. He decided to fly in close towards the water disturbance to see if he could get a closer look. What he saw was nothing short of bizarre. A giant tic-tac, estimated to be 12 to 15 meters long, but as Fravor hurled downwards to the strange tic-tac object, the object started to ascend upwards. The two started circling around each other briefly, but then the tic-tac shot off at immense speed. The ocean that had previously been unnaturally choppy was calm once again. As Fravor and his teammate returned to the ship, another crew was going out, but this one was armed with advanced forward-looking infrared camera operated by Lieutenant Chad Underwood. Underwood started to detect the weird signal on his radar once he was airborne. The height and speed of the object was all over the place, constantly changing. Underwood would later say that he didn't believe that it was following the standard laws of physics, but we don't have to fully take his word for what happened, because he was able to film it in a video that would later go viral.
At the beginning of the video, we see a UFO being tracked in infrared. Underwood then switches to visible light, revealing an out-of-focus rounded mass in the distance. He then switches back to infrared and alternates between two different zoom levels on multiple occasions. Not much happens until the very end of the video, when the UFO suddenly disappears off to the left-hand side of the screen.
The naval squad was able to track the UAPs for a couple more days on the radar before the signal was lost. But that was far from the end of the story. On the 14th of November, something strange happened. Two men arrived via helicopter. They cleared all the tapes and deleted all of the footage, but seemingly collected it for themselves before departing. It doesn't seem clear who these people were, but they did this on both the Princeton and the Nimitz ship, with witnesses observing that this took place. The next two videos that went viral were filmed in early 2015. A naval group of US Navy ships, including the USS Theodore Roosevelt, was doing training exercises when they started to pick up something strange on their radar systems. Similar to the first case, they originally thought the radars were incorrect. The behavior of the detected objects didn't make any sense. At one stage, two jets from the strike group were flying extremely close together, potentially even less than 100 meters apart. But then one of the UFO objects rocketed between the two jets at high speed. The jets almost collided with the object. They described the object as cube-like, but with a see-through sphere around it. These were the videos that were picked up by the strike group.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh, I'll take it.
And this was the second one. One man was responsible for helping get these videos into the public eye, Louis Elizondo. Want to know something surprising? You have already seen his face. That's this guy.
So what you're telling me is that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are real.
Bill, I think we're beyond that already. The government has already stated for the record that they're real. I'm not telling you that. The United States government is telling you that.
Previously, the head of a government department that investigates UFOs, Louis had an insider's insight into what the government really knows about UFOs. But he eventually left his job after getting frustrated that the government was staunchly opposed to properly researching them, despite the threat that these UFOs pose to the military and potentially civilians. Bizarrely, the head of the Roosevelt strike group seemed unbothered when shown the infamous UFO video, theoretically walking off without saying a word after being shown it. It is believed that the senior officers on the Nimitz and the Princeton also acted in a similar way. This makes me think that they were already aware of the technology. These incidents are examples where UFOs were detected by radar systems by the naked eye of elite professional witnesses, and there was video footage. The combination and intersection of all these pieces of evidence combined to make a highly compelling case. So I leave this investigation with really mixed feelings. Although my personal investigation, it didn't really find very much. It was when I researched the stories of these famous encounters, there's some pretty compelling evidence. When you combine these radar systems with eyewitnesses, with video recordings, all of this stuff happening at the same time, left me very much open to the idea that there is something else going on, that we potentially have no idea what it is, and that we potentially should be taking it quite seriously. But even if you don't take into account UFOs, there were many people that have been saying that the UK is a miserable place to live. So I made a documentary that delved deep into the truth of whether Britain is actually about to collapse, whether it is as bad as people have been saying on social media, and you should watch that documentary here.